Hello! Today we are making Christmas star bread, which it's basically a cinnamon roll, but in a pretty Christmas star shape. I'll show you how to do it. Let's go! For the dough, first we'll combine 2 teaspoons of active dry yeast with 3 tablespoons of sugar and 3/4 cup warm milk to help it bloom. Then to the stand mixer, we'll add 1/4 cup unsalted butter softened, 1 egg, 2 1/3 cups of all-purpose flour, and a pinch of salt, and let it mix until the dough is smooth, about 3 to 5 minutes. And then we'll let it rest in a covered greased bowl for 1 hour or until doubled in size. While we're waiting for it to rise, we can put together the cinnamon sugar filling. I used 1 cup of brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of muscovado sugar, and 2 tablespoons of cinnamon. You can mix this with a whisk, but I like to do it with my hands because I can feel the clumps of brown sugar to break up and make sure that everything is well distributed. Whereas if you do it with a tool like a whisk or a spoon, you won't be able to feel those clumps and break them up. Plus, then it saves me from having to wash my whisk. But honestly, it's up to your personal preference. Whatever floats your boat. Once the dough is risen, now it's time to shape it into the pretty star pattern. First, we're going to divide the dough into 3 to 4 even balls and roll them out into a circular shape as good as you can get them. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to do more shaping, so don't worry too much about keeping this in an exact circle. Once the first circle is rolled out, I like to place it on a sheet of parchment paper so that later when I transfer it to a pan for baking, I can simply slide it off the board onto the pan and not have to attempt picking it up and potentially ruin the pretty design I just worked on. On top of the first layer, we'll brush on softened butter and then sprinkle our cinnamon sugar filling on the top. Typically when making cinnamon rolls, you want to use softened butter, not melted. But this dough can be fairly delicate and sticky, which makes it a little tough to deal with at this stage. And I've found that melting the butter a little bit for a few seconds in the microwave doesn't hurt anything, and it makes this step a whole lot easier. Once the first layer is down, we'll simply repeat the steps to create the remaining layers, alternating between dough and filling until we reach the top. But remember not to add filling on the top. Once I add the top layer of dough, I like to pat around the edges and put it back into a circle-ish shape, the best that I can get it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Now to create the actual star pattern, we'll cut evenly spaced slits on the sides all the way around, coming out from the center. Remember to leave a small circle in the center and not cut all the way through the bread so that it stays together. Now we've created the star points that will twist 2 at a time away from each other and then lightly push the tips together at the end. If you find that the dough is still sticky and it's sticking to your fingers while you're trying to twist or sticking to itself, just add a little bit of flour to the tips of your fingers to help it not be so sticky. Once all the points of the star are shaped, we'll brush with egg wash to help it brown, and then bake for 25 minutes at 350 degrees. Once it comes out of the oven, if you would like, you can dust with powdered sugar to give it that nice snowy Christmassy look. Ta-da! The bottom is very sticky because of all the sugar, so it won't slide off the plate. Time to try. Oh, that's gooey. Now you don't have to make it cinnamon. You could leave out the sugar in the dough and then make it any kind of savory you could think of. I mean, like jalapeno cheddar. You could make it chocolate, make it Nutella, put blueberries, put your favorite jam in there. I mean, any number of things in between the layers, and then when you twist it, it just makes it look pretty. But the brown sugar and the muscovado sugar together, it's so gooey and so cinnamony, and it's so good. Anyway, if you like this video or you learned something, give it a like. If you'd like to learn more, subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Merry Christmas!